This mod is a pretty easy mod. Like if you've never done a mod before, it's very simple. And it'll make your D-pad clicky and more responsive. It involves sanding and cutting plastic that you insert into the controller, so it's not like you're like cutting the controller up. It's very easy. What you will need is a T8. Well, if you have a wireless controller, you'll need a T8 screwdriver. You'll need a small Phillips head screwdriver. I think if you have a wired one, you'll need like a number 1 for the outside of the controller. It doesn't have T8s on the wired, it just has a number 1 Phillips. And then you'll need a number 0 for getting the D-pad itself off. Once you're inside the controller, you'll need sandpaper, some like gritty, I guess, I don't know what you use to describe sandpaper, but just really rough sandpaper. You'll need, if you're in the US, you'll need a can of extreme pickle Pringles. And if you're in the UK, you'll need a can of salt and vinegar Pringles. You need the top from those Pringles. You could just go and steal the top, I guess, if you're a douchebag who doesn't like Pringles. Scissors, a Sharpie, it helps. Maybe a flashlight, an X-Acto knife. It's pretty simple stuff. On the wireless, it has T8 screws. Well, you can't, because I've already broken this one off, but there's a pin in the center of the screw on the wireless controller that I've already broken off. That's why you need the small flathead screwdriver. To break that, you just snap them off, like shoving them in there and like snapping them. I can't really show that in the video because it's so tiny, but I'm sure you can figure that out. It's not that hard. So I'm assuming you can do that. Alright, I'm gonna unscrew this and then show you what's like opening the controller. Alright, on the wireless controller, there's like a barcode sticker right here. You take that off and there's a hidden screw. Alright, now here's what it is like opening the controller in case you're like scared to open your controller or something. It's pretty simple. Your buttons all fly out, but it doesn't really matter because you can just put them back. Alright, you'll see, here's that. Alright, but what you're really concerned with is this. That's the D-pad. Alright, so what you want to do, take that out. There are screws in there, and then there's clips. Top left and bottom right is clips. Bottom left and top right are screws. Alright, once you get the screws undone, you gotta get the clips. The general idea with the clips, it can be a little frustrating, but what you want to do is take one and you just shove that clip through. When you like push one clip in, you don't have to worry about both because it's like kind of impossible with one person. You undo one clip and you just sort of shove it through there. The idea is to sand around here. You sand this area so that the D-pad has more room. If you look here, this has been sanded. So you'll see if you look at your controller, this one has more space on the D-pad. It won't be hitting that, and it does make a difference. Alright, so you want some high grit sandpaper, and you're just gonna take it and fold it and just sort of go at it, go at the outside edge of that thing. You might think that, you might say like that your D-pad isn't always hitting the side, and that's true, but that's because the D-pad moves around, it slides around, and we're going to fix that too. That's what the plastic disc is for. That's what we're going to cut a plastic disc out for the insert. Alright, I'm not going to make you watch me sand this whole time, but you get the idea. You sand enough that it's substantial. Alright, now what you want to do, once you've sanded, I have sanded, and you're going to cut out a piece of your Pringles top that is a little smaller than this circle, this main big circle, and it needs to have a hole in the center. Personally, I'm using a drill to drill a hole through it, through this, but I mean, use whatever you have available. Some people use a screwdriver and just jam it. I don't know, you can probably find a million things. You just cut it out with like an X-Acto knife, whatever. Anyways, I usually do a hole first, and then I put it through here so it stays in place, and then I trace around it with like a Sharpie, and then I like cut it out, and you know, then I've got it. Okay, I've got my hole. I'd like to point out that you need the top that comes with Pringles Extreme Pickle. In the UK, they use the same model top with salt and vinegar. I'm not sure about other countries, but in the US, you need Extreme Pickle, the top from that can. And in the UK, you definitely need salt and vinegar. Okay, so now I've got that hole. I'm gonna put it through here. See, you got there, I got plenty of room for whatever, and just trace that. Alright, okay, I've got my disc now. Here you can see it for reference. I don't know if it's hard to see, it's clear. That's what I'm using, and that's about the same size as I have on the other one. So, on my other controller that is, so I'm pretty sure that it will work the exact same. Alright, I'm putting the controller back together. It's really difficult to screw up because they've made it so that the buttons won't go in a slot unless they're like right side up, because they have like little slot thingies that don't allow them to go in any other like way. So, alright, B, X. Oh yeah, this cylinder is lodged in here, and it will probably, it might stay there while you're sanding, but don't lose it. It's easy to lose. Alright, and you can't screw that up either because of the way they made it. Alright. Load the X. Alright, let's see here. Here's my back and my start. Even those, you can't even get those mixed up because they're built the exact same, and they load right. Okay. Now, here's the idea: is to put your little whatever the hell you want to call it, your disc, there on top of that. You see it? Okay. Then you put this on top of that with the little black dots facing up. It will like wrap around the black thing right there. It'll like wrap around that lip, and you see this that has to match up with that screw hole. Okay. Maybe it's not a screw hole, I don't know. Alright, there we go. Okay, now this. Wait, oh yeah, and then you want to take this off and put it on here. Like that. Okay. Alright. Good. Okay, now I forget which this fits onto. Fits onto this, the front. Okay. Right. Where's my right bumper? There's my right bumper. Okay, so shove that on there. So you've got your bumper on the front of the controller, and then you can just take the whole thing upside down and lay it on top. Alright, now I've screwed it up. I mean, like, screwed it, all the things, and I didn't mess it up. I put all my screws in. So, you load the battery. And now it's a rape controller. You'll notice that it's sticky. I mean, it's clickier. It's much more like responsive. Well, I don't know, but it depends on how you mean responsive. I mean, it's just it is better. You're never gonna like just tap it lightly and then have it not do anything. So for fighting games, for menu navigation, which is pretty much just what the D-pad is for, it's much better.